Well, good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us on the first day of our FuturePrint virtual conference. And here we are in the first session of the afternoon, and I'm very pleased to have Mark Greendoors from AGFA with me. Good afternoon, Mark.
Hi, Fraser. Thanks for the opportunity today to have a half-an-hour session on AGFA technology.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. So this session, your title is Digital Printing on Decor Paper for Laminate Production Using Water-Based Inks. And that is really your role, I guess, at AGFA, is to connect with industries and engineering companies and kind of help and design and build inkjet print systems, the companies that are doing that sort of thing, for you to provide the perfect ink solution. That's right, isn't it?
That's 100% correct. But today I have taken a bit a fuller view on the market, on the technology, and on the solutions from AGFA, not only from an ink perspective. So I want to give a broad view on what is possible with inkjet for this specific application.
Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to pass the sharing of the screen over to you. You're going to explain a little bit about how and why AGFA are involved in inkjet, and just take us through your presentation, and as we go, I'll ask some questions just to get a bit of clarity on some of the points that you're making. So over to you, Mark.
Thank you. That's very good. Let's make it interactive. But I've prepared a few schematic slides for you and for the audience, of course, to explain what I want to bring today. So what is important for AGFA? Why are we active in this market? It's because we have a match between our know-how and the scope.
Yeah.
We are selective where we go. And from the AGFA know-how, I'm an ink specialist, so I colored the ink a bit darker blue. It will still be an attention point today, but it's not the only thing we have. We have all the knowledge on print systems, image file handling, color management, and very important for this application, we learned how the lamination processes work. And during this talk, you will notice how important it is. And that you also see on the other side of the screen, where we have why now, why digital, why AGFA, how does AGFA work in it, and why laminate, and how we work with the laminate producers. So I believe the market is ready, and I will go a bit more in detail later. We have partnerships as an OEM ink supplier. We have the partnership with printer builders, in this case of high-speed single-pass printer. Of course, the laminate producers. The fact that we are a member of the EPLF, which is the European Organization of Laminate Producers, is a sign that we strongly believe in this market and work with those end users and the decor printers to bring a solution which really fits to their processes. And that's the reason why we are involved in the decor laminate market.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, did you want to show us a video? Or?
Yeah, so why digital? Of course, there are the general reasons why digital, but there are also specific reasons, of course, in the case of decor laminate. And that's some pre-recording which we did when I was still in the office.
Okay, thanks, Mark. We'll watch this.
Gravure printing has been the standard printing technology with proven quality for decades. This technology was developed to print high to very high run lengths. It uses engraved cylinders as print masters, which are specific to each design. Its color inks are formulated in-house in view of specific designs. It takes time to reach the exact same color each time, and the storage of the cylinders takes up a lot of space. Inkjet printing starts directly from the design file and does not need a print master. It also uses a fixed set of process colors. The design is printed by jetting the ink droplets exactly onto each pot to reach the desired color. This results in many advantages. 1. Inkjet can be used to print very short to long run lengths, and repeat jobs become easy. 2. Inkjet can be used during all stages, from the design over test printing and proofing to real production. 3. The design freedom is huge. Specials such as company logos, pictures, one-off design, and much more become easy and economical. 4. Printing of different consecutive designs without stopping or with a very short changeover time become realistic. As a result, inkjet printing provides an answer to two key market trends. A very short make-ready time, which also allows for lower stock at every stage: the deco printer, laminate producer, the dealer, the do-it-yourself shop. B, laminate applications have become a fashion item. While once the number of designs was limited, the offering now covers a broad selection of designs with new trends every year. In addition, there is a tendency towards personalization. Inkjet is best placed to match these demands.
Really good. Kind of sums it up quite easily, doesn't it? Just gives us a little bit of a frame there. I mean, just a question for you. Why now, and how will that kind of, why is it digital now, and how's that market going to evolve, do you think?
Yeah, the why now question is indeed why not earlier, why not later. I feel that there is now the perfect match between the market demand, so the market pull, and the technology push. Inkjet is ready for this application, and the customers, the end users, the deco printers and laminate producers are convinced of this.
Yeah.
So that's why now. Which companies are mostly interested? This is not for newcomers. Mostly
right.
The existing companies that are in this market, and they feel the need, especially because of the freedom of design choice, the cost of introducing a new design, the end of life period of a design, which is very expensive with gravure print.
Yeah.
Cheaper with inkjet. So there are a lot of reasons that those companies active in the market understand very well. So they are the first ones to look to the digital technology.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. And do you sense, Mark, that it's fairly easy for customers to make money quickly with this?
But it depends a bit on what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
In this, and for who is digital best suited? What run length do you have for the application or furniture market or in your market? It all depends on what you want to do. And
sure.
Run lengths are very different. I try to give a very generalistic view, schematic. Don't look too much to the exact numbers. It gives you a trend.
Mm.
The end user or the laminate producer's job is doing in creating until a full production or large production, how much paper that uses and which print system he can use. Basically, only the very high runners, which are only below 10% of the, maybe only 5% of the designs today are really high runners, that it's a few days gravure printing without stopping.
Sure.
So it's not going to change that part. So that's the real large volume production that will stay gravure to my belief. But all the rest will be inkjet, of course. And what is already inkjet for 10 plus years is the design on what I call a plotter. It's a very cheap wide format multi-pass plotter, not too wide, that needs only to print maximum 10 square meters. And if it takes 1 or 2 hours, people do not care. But they use it in the proofing and in the design. But once they know they want to test this design, then of course they need a run to test it on the market. And then goes to a smaller volume, maybe higher volume, come back to smaller volume. You have this trend in the life cycle. So here a high-speed multi-pass printer is enough to cover that area of tons of paper printed. While at some point you really need a high-speed single pass. Of course, there is an overlap soon.
Sure.
So the story here is there is a solution for inkjet here, different solutions. It really depends on your volume. Your print width is important. Do you need 2.25 meters for a full laminate floor, or can you live with 1.30 for a furniture panel? Also, regional differences. But I think it gives a good overview of where inkjet can be used in a laminate production.
Yeah, really good.
The next thing, if okay for you, Fraser, I would like to focus a bit on the high-speed multipass.
Sure.
Because maybe it's not clear enough to everybody what I mean by that. And I can only do better by showing the AGFA development here, which was launched last year, the interior jet.
Yeah.
Only targeting this market.
That'd be good to see that.
Dedicated machine, dedicated ink set, water-based, of course, because you print on the paper. And it's also an untypical ink set. It comprises, of course, a red and a yellow ink to make the brown colors of wood designs. So it's a fully AGFA development. The ink, the software, the printer, everything is AGFA made. And the dual lane is very specific because this is targeting to the smaller lids, the maximum width 55. But you can do at the same time, or you can run a design on one time and trial while you print production on the other. So it gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, and and multi-pass.
Multi-pass, so scanning heads.
Yeah.
60 scanning heads, but up to 340 square meter per hour. So multi-pass high speed, in my definition, is 250 and higher.
Yeah.
And this fits for investment in output what I need. But do not be mistaken, this is not for personalization only or fashion. No, we have customers doing unattended 3-shift printing.
So production, basically, production.
Production,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, really good.
That's in an intermediate phase where you start to learn with inkjet, and you have the need, but not always the volume for each production run, and then this is a perfect solution.
Sounds good.
And how it works, I have a video also on this.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Please run it. That'd be great. Very impressive, yeah, really impressive. And I guess the development of the technology, one of the things you talk a lot about is your kind of partner relationships. Is this one of those pieces of technology?
So in the interior case, it's really AGFA technology for everything.
Right.
Printheads, but the case of partnership is more in the area of high-speed single pass.
Right.
The reason is quite simple. You cannot do everything yourself, and it takes a lot of skills to engineer such a high-speed single system. Certainly because here is especially the laminate market up to 2.25 meters print width. So we're not talking about 60 heads, we're talking about hundreds of heads.
Yeah.
Also the handling of the rolls, and typically there's also a primer solution in line in such a printer. So it becomes something for expert companies that are active, let's say from Gravure maybe, or from Flexo, in the market of bringing such high investment systems in this case, but also the output is extremely high. So it's another range of printer.
Yeah.
Again, they need a tuned ink. So Here, it's extremely important what we did is to work with every party involved. We from the ink side, much more than the ink, it also comprises all about the integration of ink and especially to the processes of the laminate production. Because the target is that the ink does not need any change in the later steps, meaning the impregnation and the top coats on top should be not changed versus gravure. So it's a drop-in inkjet solution. And the only way to be sure of that is to work together with the laminate producer.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we have done. And that's more the partnership here. So
yeah,
on one hand, with the printer builder, and to be sure that your ink is fully aligned. And it takes sometimes up to 1 year testing on site at the printer to tune the last bit. And then the next step is the end user. You're still there. AGFA is available there. So we are not hidden behind the printer builder. We are active involved at the end user.
Yeah, yeah. And often they say, don't they, that start with the ink and then develop the technology from there.
Yeah, I had some projects like this. Printer ready, now I need an ink.
Yeah.
This is totally not the case here.
Yeah.
Here it's definitely from the beginning the ink question and how to develop it. First of all, the printhead choice. High resolution, low drop size, recirculating. You need very, very consistent results over such a width, easy maintenance. So from the beginning, the ink was in the picture.
Sure.
How it should be. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah, and I think you've got another video. I was just going to ask you, so are you able to talk about some of these partnerships in terms of who you're working with?
Yeah, of course. But since it's only half an hour, I try to focus more on, let's say, the general approach.
Sure.
And of course, also, you have to understand that such partnerships are mostly not unique and not exclusive. So AGFA as an ink supplier also has the target to work with several integrators, printers. And also for the industry, it's sometimes better that there are 2 or 3 solutions than just one.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes sense.
So, of course, and in another occasion, we have named those companies. They're not a secret. But I want to focus today on the AGFA approach.
Sure.
Okay for you.
So you have a little video?
And that's more a general approach on how we see partnerships. And
sure.
the picture I took here was actually from an imprint show where we have given our partners this statue as a gift to the partners. And that's why this image is on.
Very nice.
Today, breakthroughs are realized for many different industrial inkjet applications. They are mostly the result of partnerships and collaborations. The end user, the printer building company, and the ink supplier closely work together to work out a fitting solution. It is indeed not only important that ink and printer are completely matched to result in reliable jetting, but it's even more critical that the prints fully match the industrial processes and the specific requirements of the end products. For the specific case of ink development for printing on decor paper, for laminate products, AGFA has set up a partnership with Unilin. Through this cooperation, AGFA was able to develop the full ink performance in relation to the laminate quality. The ink formulation was adapted in view of the lamination process demands, and important features such as image quality, primer ink combination, metamerism, and color constancy were extensively checked. Nevertheless, it remains of key importance that the ink is designed in view of the specific inkjet printing equipment, especially the printheads and the drying system. AGFA has been active as OEM ink supplier for UV inkjetting since over 10 years and has gradually built up a reputation of reliable ink partner, not only because of the ink performance itself, but also thanks to our commitment and to our flexibility to tune inks to the full solution. We are also doing this for water-based pigment inks. We develop and test ink prototypes in-house, but the final ink tuning is being done in partnership with the OEM. This is the only way to guarantee consistent print results. In the field of printing on decor paper, we have been working with many different OEMs. The development of a high-speed, single-pass print system requires a lot of engineering skills. The combination with AGFA's ink chemistry and ink system know-how is the ideal fit. This has resulted in high-speed, single-pass print solutions specifically for this industry.
So that's really good. So you've got a couple of options: multi-pass option, single-pass partnerships with companies that I guess develop very specifically single-pass technology, and you've worked closely with them to deliver the perfect ink. So that's very, very effective.
That's correct. And actually in the video, I named the validator of the laminate where we had a long-term partnership, which I will also come back later, that it also extended in a broader field. And in the single pass press, one press is of course the Rotajet from Koenig & Bauer, which uses the AGFA ink and is in use at the décor printer for laminate production. So that's an example.
Sure.
But as said, we are not exclusive.
No, it's good. Very good.
And I think it's important for the industry to have a good solution available.
Yeah, that fits rather than trying to force the solution to fit the problem.
Okay, that's well said. And of course, if okay for you, I want to come to my typical topic now.
Which is inks, the technology of ink.
Since this is one of the key elements, of course.
And like we said, it's so important, isn't it, to get the ink right?
Yeah, not only the ink, it's especially the ink working with the system, with the printhead, with the printing of the solution.
Sure.
Also the unit. If your ink doesn't dry in time, you also have an issue. So the ink supply, all the aspects play a role. The interaction of ink with everything, including the substrate, because the lowest sentence primer, I will come back in the next part. But looking to the ink, what is key? It's pigment-based. The selection of number one thing you have to do correctly in this field. If you select the wrong pigments that are not inkjet grade, they can block your nozzles. They not the right color, they can have too low efficiency, not easy to disperse, which makes your cost of dispersion very high. And last but not least, the most important thing, they are responsible for very key elements of the end, which is the light fastness, the color constancy, and of course also low metamerism. All elements of that your floor always looks similar, same color in all kind of conditions. And of course, batch-to-batch consistency, which is, let's say, a key feature of all AGFA inks. It's in our target from the beginning, batch-to-batch consistency. And here I have the pleasure to introduce my colleague, who is the R&D project manager for this ink at AGFA, Jens Leenaerts, and who has prepared a bit technical story behind the ink development.
Good, thank you.
An inkjet ink for printing on décor paper for laminate production requires a combination of three key elements. First of all, perfect tuning to the laminate production process. Secondly, excellent printing performance and reliability. And finally, consistent print results. I will explain the importance of each of these aspects. Tuning to the laminate production process. The ink formulation needs to be fully compatible with the impregnation and lamination steps. Even more so, this is the determining factor for light fastness and durability of the laminate. Printing performance and reliability. Ink formulations are developed to deliver high jetting reliability under demanding print conditions at print speeds of over 100 meters a minute, firing up to 40,000 drops per second out of each individual nozzle. Consistent print results. The ink formulation and the production thereof is tuned to deliver excellent batch-to-batch consistency for color and image quality, so that the ink delivers consistent prints day after day. Next to water-based inks for décor paper printing comprise a pigment dispersion and organic, non-volatile kool solvents as main components. The pigment dispersion has a very fine and narrow particle size distribution and high stability, which is obtained by milling a pigment powder in water using a polymeric dispersant. The combination of the dispersion mill and the milling process parameters, as well as the selection of both pigment and dispersant, are key elements to obtain a high-performing dispersion. AGFA's expertise in this field lies at the basis of its water-based inks for printing on decor paper. In addition, cold solvents are needed to regulate jetting performance of the ink and wetting of the ink on the decor paper. Pigments for laminate applications are selected in view of the following criteria. 1. Reproduction of wood colors. 2. Low metamerism. 3. High level of color constancy. And 4. Good light fastness. Therefore, the ink set comprises cyan, red, yellow, and black inks containing selected inkjet grade quality pigments that match the pigments used in gravure printing. Together with the fine-tuning of pigment concentration, this results in a color gamut that covers all wood designs. The ink formulations are perfected for excellent jetting reliability and consistent print results. We master this for high-speed printing at full width of the laminate, both multi- and single-pass printing. Linear speeds of over 100 meters a minute are reached in single-pass mode. The ink development includes extensive drop washer studies, and ink formulations are adapted according to the jetting results for specific print heads. Jetting reliability implies that all jetted drops are located at their exact targeted spots over the full print width, day after day, batch after batch, design after design.
Excellent. So I just wonder, whilst we watch that, why is it that water-based are so important, and how does that kind of fit with the industrial applications that we're talking about?
Excellent question. So water-based ink set, we have tried actually also UV ink set.
Yeah.
But the natural fit with a paper is of course water. But the most important reason is the next processes in the lamination production. That is the impregnation and step. It's much easier with a water-based ink. Also, the water-based ink allow to print a design with a low consumption. So I mean a design with light colors,
Sure.
and to a very dark oak or something. So the full range of the wood design colors are possible with the water-based in the impregnation step. That's a key element why water-based.
Mark, is it as good? Will you get the perfect result from a water-based ink?
In this case, definitely, the water-based is for many things the best choice, not only for the color, but also for sustainability aspect and also cost. So for all aspects, the water-based ink is definitely the choice to go here.
Yeah.
And again, in combination with a primer.
I was going to say primers are important, aren't they? Really important to get it right on your primers as well.
Yeah, so everybody uses a primer, or they use an inkjet paper, also exists.
Sure.
Cell paper, you can also do that. But in fact, the primer is already on the paper. You don't have to do it in line.
Yeah.
Most companies have already also with gravure printing, they have primers in use. Multiple, depending on the quality they need, depending on the price their customer wants to pay. But in general, what is the primer doing? And here we have worked together with Unilin. AGFA produces the primers, but the development was done by Unilin.
Yeah.
And those primers target one thing. The most important thing is control of the dot size. So having the bleeding, the spreading too deep in the paper of the pigment. That's the number one. The effect of that, if you do that correctly, you save a lot of ink, which is important because it improves your economical model. Primer is quite cheap, ink is a bit more expensive, but in the total combination of primer plus ink, there's a very economical on the same size of gravure cost. Up to the 20 ton, 30 ton, you have the same cost with inkjet compared to gravure, and that's a key element. And last but not least, it also covers a bit the paper dust, because the paper dust is an enemy of your print heads.
Yeah, Mark.
also important.
That's very important, isn't it? As we come to the last couple of minutes, it's been a really informative session. What kind of conclusions do you want to draw in terms of? Oh, right, there we go. Fantastic, you're already there.
I prepared a bit for you, because I think I try to show you the reason why AGFA is involved. That it's a match with our scope. And very important here is that it's not only a technology push. The market really needs it. There is a driver from the market, and that matches the technology capabilities. AGFA is a key player here. In the solution approach, I've shown you, okay, AGFA can do something on its own in TeruJet, but we're also very capable to be in a partnership. And last but not least, we have learned with laminate producers that it really is a solution that they want, that they really need. That brings money from them, for them. So in that way, the summary words are: it's economic, the full life cycle of a design from start to end, the huge freedom of design choices, print quality, of course, is a must, but much more, the laminate quality, the end quality is proven.
Yeah.
In short, the summary of the talk of today.
Yeah, I think actually, Mark, to be honest with you, you're being quite modest in what you're saying. And I think you could also say that behind all of this is a lot of thought, and AGFA as an organization take time, care, spend money and resources to get things right. And the choice of a piece of technology that AGFA developed, or alternatively an ink that is developed by AGFA in partnership with the people that really understand the market, kind of shows that you've really thought this through, and as a partner, AGFA would be a good company to work with.
Thank you for those kind words, and it's indeed summarized that in one word.
Yeah. I think you're right. Mark, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an excellent session. I've enjoyed that conversation, and also enjoyed seeing those videos, which gave it a bit of clarity in terms of things. If anyone's interested to connect with Mark, here's his details, and obviously on LinkedIn you can connect with him. And we're very grateful for you to be with us today. Thank you, Mark.